Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture number 6, which is Light, Eye and Vision Medicine. I am Dr. Ahmed and this is the course of Medical Biophysics. The outlines will be introduction, properties of the light. We will see what is the applications of light in medicine. And then we'll talk about the ray diagram, what is the lens, how can we do it, and then the lens formula, the vision of the defects, and then the prescription of the eyeglasses. The lecture will be divided into 4 parts. The first one will be light in medicine. The second one will be the ray diagram. The third one will be vision defect. And the fourth one will be the problems. In terms of the first part of this lecture, just like the sun is the major source of the light, as you know. And just like the sun gives us different types of the light, which can be beneficial or hazard to our health. The light is just coming from the sun. It can be 3 types of light or 3 types of rays: the ultraviolet one, the visible light, and the infrared one. Okay, each one have a let's say a beneficial. For example, the ultraviolet light, it just can be using for the it can be using it just for providing the vitamin D. The visible light is just using for seeing the things, and the infrared using to give the warmth that you are feeling it. In addition, the light have some interesting properties. Maybe it will be using in medicine. The speed of light is changed when it go from one material to another. This one is named refraction, which is the light can be change in its velocity when it go from one material to another material. And the light behave in both waves and particles. And in terms of the medicine, we are not interested about the light in wave. We will talk about the light as a particles. And that one, it just like it can be observed by single molecules and make the interactions with the body. And this is how we will understand it later. When the light is observed, it just energy appear as a heat. This property is basis for using IR light to heat tissue in medicine. So when you are observing the light, as we said before, can be as a particle in the single molecule, you will see the energy will be appeared as a heat. And this property is the basis of using IR. So the IR is a particles coming from the sun. It just will be observed by the tissue, and then it will be appear as a heat. This is why you will see the warmth that you are feeling from that one is coming from the IR. There is another property which talk about the light has reflected some extent from all the surfaces. So we have 2 types of the surfaces. We have mirror surface, which is like is uniform. When the light is coming in, it will be totally reflected. So you see all these things is uniform or mirror reflection. The diffuse one is just like when they are coming, they will be separated in different directions. This is the diffuse reflection. So this is the types of the reflection that we have. In terms of the measurement of the light and its unit, the light can be using, we have, as we said, we have the 3 general categories of light. We are using the UV and visible and IR, which can be defined in terms of their wavelength. Okay, which is an important one. We are defining these light by using the wavelength. The wavelength of the light can be used and measured in like a wavelength. It's mean length. That means can be used meter, centimeter, millimeter. But in terms of the light, sometimes we are using microns, 10 to the power minus 6, or angstrom, 10 to the power minus 10. But at the present, recommended unit will be nanometers. So the most recommended unit in terms of the measuring the light, it will be the nanometer. On that purpose, you will see the ultraviolet have a wavelength from the 100 to 400 nanometer, which is, as we said, 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Visible light from 400 to 700, and the AR extend from 700 to 10 to the power 4 nanometer. Okay. Now, the application of visible light in medicine is just like we have many instruments that are using the light to get the diagnosis of the disease, and sometimes we are using them for treatment. The device we name endoscope. Endoscope is using for the viewing internal body activities, cavities. For example, we have the cystoscopes we're using to examine the bladder. We have the proctoscope using for examining the rectum, And you have the bronchoscope we're using for examining the air passage into the lungs. Okay, as we said before, if you remember that the light is coming with the IR. So there is a heat is coming with it. So that means because the lights contain energy, it will be appear as a heat when it's observed. There is a limit of the amount of the light can be using in endoscope. We cannot using as much as light as we can, because you have tissues can be destroyed using the heat. So what is the solution of this problem? The heating can be reduced by using a technique by reducing the IR from the source with the special IR observing glass. We said the source of the heat is coming from the IR. So how can I remove the heat from the light? I will make the special observing glass filters, which will be observed or prevent IR to make it to passing through the tissues. And this called light endoscopy, we name it cold light endoscopy. The light source contains very little IR radiation, and the heating of tissue will be what? Will be minimized. The application of ultrasound and infrared light in medicine is just like ultraviolet light with the wavelength of below 290 nanometer is the geometrical. So that means it will be kill germs, and it's sometimes using to sterilize the medical instruments. So this is one of the benefit of the UV light, and there below 290 nanometer, it will be using for the kill the germs and for the sterilization. One of the major benefits of the effect of the UV light from the sun is just the conversion of molecule products in the skin into the vitamin. If you want to get the vitamin, the doctors or the physician will be advise you to go to the light and see and to be exposure to the sun. Why? Because the sun have UV light, and the UV light can produce the vitamin D, which is interaction with the skin. UV light can be using the sun effect, which is from the sun, affect the myelin, the melanin in the skin to cause tanning. The color that we have it now is just like it's not like the white color, the gold color, let's say, just coming from the tanning. However, UV light can be produce sunburn as well as tan the skin. If you're getting more than what you're expecting, maybe it will be get as a sunburn. And the wavelength that produce the sunburn are around 300 nanometer. So 200 or below 200, it will be give beneficial. At 300 or more than 300, it will be produce the sunburn around this range of the wavelength. The amount of 300 nanometer in the sun spectrum depend on the amount of the atmosphere that the sunlight can pass through it. So it's just like if the sun passing through the atmosphere as much sun as they can, as much UV light as you can, that means it will be you should avoid to exposure to the sun in straight in direct contact, because it will be hurt you. Maybe it will can be sunburn. Sometimes it will go to be solar UV light, which is the major cause for the skin cancer in the human. All right. So there is benefits. So this is the let's say the first benefit of UV light. This is the second one. Okay, it's using for the skin and these things. This is the third one, tanning. This is 1, 2, 3 benefits of the UV light. The sunburn, one of the disadvantages. This is disadvantage. The second advantage is, sorry. The second advantage is, the second disadvantage, sorry, it will be using for the skin cancer in the human. So this is the second disadvantage. Again, if I am returning back again, this is the first one, first advantage. This is the second advantage. This is the third advantage. So 3 advantages, and let's say I'll put it in that color. So this is the disadvantage. This is 1. If you are going on that side, Okay, if you it will be this is the third one, the second one in the disadvantages. Okay, in terms of the IR, there is no special hazard from it, but when they are focusing it from the, however, looking at the sunlight through the filter, they remove the most of the visible light and allow the most of the IR wavelength through this. They cause the burn of the retina. So don't look at the sun directly and you have the sunglasses. That's it. You will not get any problem with the IR. Okay. And this is the end of the first section. Thank you very much.